Hello, hello. I look at me right on time. I turns out I do know how to use YouTube. I struggled yesterday to remember how to get the camera and the sound connected, but we are live today. I'm going to go ahead while we're waiting for people to join, and I'm going to go ahead and there we go. Make sure that everything is sharing properly. Nice, it is. Okay. Welcome to day 2 of Best Year, Best You. Today is when I said that the motto for Best Year, Best You was if being delusional is wrong, I don't want to be right. This truly is, this is the day for that. We're going to be really delulu today for a good cause, for a good cause. Megan, Michelle, good morning. Hello. I was like, good morning, but it is good morning for you. Megan, you're on Pacific. I'm on Central. It's about lunchtime for me, which is about the same for Michelle. Michelle, I'm assuming you're still on Central Time. So I'm curious if anything came up for you all yesterday after our call. Something actually came up for me and I found it interesting. I'm going to end the share actually for the moment since I know it's working. I didn't share it on our In and Out on the live stream yesterday, but I did, I think, potentially bring it up in that podcast episode that I shared last week. And that was one of the things that I actually released at Miraval. I think it was like end of September, beginning of October, was this need to control timing. And I thought that it really related to my surgeries, but I have begun to realize that it's actually much more than that. I can be a control freak. And oh my gosh, it was probably a year ago. Well, it would have been a week prior, a year ago, end of December. My husband and I had actually made the decision that we thought we were going to move. And so we stopped all of the plans for home renovations. Like I just stopped doing all of that. What we did do was we like went through the whole house and started calling out and cleaning out and getting things organized because we had made the decision that we were going to move. But things out of our control didn't quite you can make perfect plans and things don't always go the way you think they're going to or that you want them to. So one of my ins and outs was that I was no longer going to be in limbo. Like my out was like, I'm not going to wait. Like I'm no longer waiting for things to happen to start living my life in certain ways, right? So in was not living in limbo, moving forward. And I'm not going to do huge home renovations because that's not really smart right now. But literally, I noticed yesterday, so you can see these curtains behind me. I bought paint yesterday. I am working with someone. We're designing the space for the podcast. Everything is going to get moved. We're going to be against this wall. I've bought the paint for it. So you won't be seeing these curtains anymore. And I was like, you know what? I could move those curtains into my bedroom. Like I like these curtains. They work with what I'm wanting to do with the bedroom in the new house that we don't have. And so I was like, why don't I move those curtains? And like, I can still fucking paint stuff. Like it takes my time, but like, that's not that expensive. Like there's still things I can do in this home that would make me happier. And I'm just like, this has been here all along, but it wasn't obvious to me until I had my in out. So I'm just curious. You had stuff come up during the call. You don't want to let it go, Doris. Okay. But it's also hard to make time for it. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens by the time we get to the end of this week. You'll have to check in and let me know. Hi, Ari. Good to see you. Okay. So let's jump in. I shared my little takeaway. Hopefully, just, now that you've got this in out list, you'll start to see things come up for you that it's like just obvious, like that's out, this is in, this is what we're doing now. Okay, so let me go to my share screen again. Today is all about the wish list. And I I now I've always had this wish list, I've always had this dream list as part of this process. But now that Taylor Swift came out with the song wish list, it's like kind of the soundtrack that's always going on in the back of my mind. Um, that's what today is all about. It is really about wishing and dreaming without boundaries, not having any kind of censors, and really allowing yourself to brainstorm what it is that you want. And yesterday, you all shared some ideas as to some goals, some priorities that you wanted to focus on. Also, in your letting go and what you were trying to embrace for the next year. Some of these might have been like true wishes, they might have been true dreams, but I did tend to see some people saying more shoulds, right? More, in my mind, it was a should. You know your life, your careers and business better than me, but it was more of a this is what I need to do. I feel like this happens a lot with New Year's resolutions. Like we get on this should train of like, I'm going to clean up my life. I am not an organized person, and which, yeah, drives my husband crazy. But I've not been organized from the day I was born. And I'm constantly losing rings, misplacing things. And yesterday I thought, oh, I'm going to put this ring in this drawer. And it wasn't like a should or like this is my new goal. It was just like, this is where I'm going to put this. Maybe that'll help me not lose it. And I literally went to get it today and it wasn't where I put it. Like I was 2 days in. So like sometimes we create these goals of like, this is the year I'm finally going to get organized. Okay, if you're not an organized person, like that's just as delusional as saying that you want this big grand dream. And I would rather you go after the big grand dream. Um, you know, so that's what we're doing today. We're going to have our wish list of things that we might want to accomplish. And I want you to be delusional, not like you're already being delusional with your shoulds. Like, let's be delusional with our dreams as well. So I'm about to ask the first question. If you are watching this and you are not yet signed up, like technically registered for Best Year Best You, just know that that is one of the requirements. So you can totally answer the challenge questions to participate because it's going to help you, but it's not going to get you an entry towards the grand prize, which is quarterly one-on-one sessions with me this year. So to be eligible to actually win a prize, you need to register. But two, all you got to do is follow the prompts in the email. So far, what you have been revealed is you can get 5 entry points for tagging friends in one of my social media posts. Yesterday, you were able to get 3 entry points by answering the challenge questions. And today, you can get 3 points or 3 entries by answering the questions. And then Wednesday and Thursday as well. 5 plus 12 is 17. I wasn't sure yesterday. I double checked. 5 plus 12 is 17. If you get all 17, you automatically get a bonus 3 for 20 possible entries. We will be drawing and announcing the winner on Friday's live stream. Okay. Challenge question number 1. What's one thing you wanted as a kid that would still be cool if it happened? What's one thing you wanted as a kid? This is a great way to envision and dream and be a little bit delusional, is to go back to your childhood. Because when we were children, for the most part, we did believe anything was possible. A lot of times because adults were asking us questions like, what do you want? What do you want to be when you grow up? Like anything was possible. We weren't jaded. We didn't have careers with shitty bosses. Like we didn't have any of that. We thought anything was possible. I know my answer to this. What's one thing you wanted as a kid that would still be cool if it happened? Well, one is, I actually have a lot that I could come up with, but one is becoming the first woman president. I mean, it's really disappointing that there's not already been a first woman president. But I don't know. I would still like that would be a cool job. I'd be down for that. I also would have loved to have been like a music singer, like country music, although yeah, anyway. But Yes, that would still be really cool. Like doing movies and acting would be really cool. Like all of that stuff would be really cool for me. Um, so I'm curious from you. I'm now going to come over and look at this to see your answers. What's one thing that you wanted as a kid that would still be really cool if you could do it today or have it? The Barbie dream house. Wait, but like, why? See, why is that ridiculous? Sean wanted the Barbie dream house and never got it. Damn it. Look, I wanted a balance beam and a horse, and I didn't get either of those, and I don't understand why. We lived in a 1,000 square foot house. So I do know why. But there was like a small chain link fence around the backyard. This is why I didn't get the horse or the balance beam, but I wanted those things. Um, what else do we have? Yes, Rachel wanted to be a musician too. It would still be cool. Um, Sean, yeah. Look, I mean, you can be the first woman president too. I'll take any of us. Look, I would take a lot of women, not all women, but a lot of women. Um, oh, 17's cover contest. Is 17 still, is that still a magazine? Um, we need to have something that is possible. So if it would require you to restart that magazine or someone else, I mean, if you're going to restart it, that would be cool. But something that would be possible. Um, a renowned photographer. I love it, Michelle, because you are a fabulous photographer, but being renowned, that would be really cool. Sally wanted an easy bake oven. Um, yeah, maybe it's a remodel your kitchen. Um, this actually came up over Christmas. My sister-in-law was asking if we were allowed to cook a lot growing up. And I was like, yeah, I was like, my cousin had an easy bake oven, and like I just had a real oven at the exact same age. Like my mom just let us do stuff. Um, oh wow, I love that, Rhonda. A trip around the world for a whole year. Amazing. Um, wait, I have an 82. I don't, what is that, Rachel? I don't know what that means. It's a constant project, an 82. A 78. I must be missing something. Okay, I missed a previous comment because y'all all know what you're talking about. I love it. Okay. To be a baker. Look at you, Christy. I love it. What were you baking? This is what I want to know. Was it like something in particular, just all the things? An astronomer, a veterinarian. Okay, I love it. The VW camper van. Yes. Okay. So this is a fun way to just explore the dreams because sometimes we think that those things are no longer possible. I mean, I am a dreamer. I am totally a dreamer. And yet, I have noticed that as I age, as I get older, I have started to not believe things are possible because I feel like it's too late. Or that was something that, I could have done it like if I had made that decision when I was 20 or maybe even 30, but like not now. And I have to constantly work on those thoughts. And maybe it's just me, but that might be kind of coming up for you as well, that things are no longer possible. And so that's why really giving ourselves permission to dream before we censor ourselves and start going after more realistic goals is really, really important. I actually, this particular, so today I pulled this from module 3 of Goals Reimagined. And this ended up being my favorite module because I've actually got a lot of exercises in that one because I just think it's so important for us to dream again. And I think part of it's age. I think part of it is just the world we're living in. It's difficult to dream when there's just so much shitty stuff happening and there's so many constrictions happening right now. And it's just really important that we get back to that. Partly because, and this has always been the case, we tend to go after things, like I said, that are more realistic or what seems obvious. It's like the should right in front of us. And for those of you who've done like the goals ladder with me before, you know that like finding that underlying motivation or that thing that's going to get you closer to the long-term vision, that's what brings the success and the satisfaction and the enjoyment and the fulfillment, as opposed to going after more obvious goals or more shoulds, which one, we tend to not stick with because we're not as motivated. And two, even if we accomplish it, like we still feel like something's missing. So this is why we don't necessarily have to go after the big dreams, but if we don't allow ourselves to actually have permission to dream them to begin with, oftentimes we don't end up with the right goals. So, challenge number 2. What's one thing you want? Like you want it right now, like, and maybe you wanted it as a kid too, but like you would love to do it. You would love to have it. You would love to change it, but it feels impossible right now. And it could feel impossible because of yourself. It could feel impossible because of timing. It could feel impossible just because it seems too far out of reach. It could feel impossible because it's something out of your control. But what's one thing that you personally want for yourself? This can't be world peace. um, unless you personally are going to be setting a goal for you to create world peace, that would be difficult. But today is all about being delusional. I would rather you find something that you at least have more influence over than that. But what's one thing that you want but feels impossible right now? It was cupcakes at the time, and now it's Pop-Tarts. Okay, Christy, I will buy a cupcake or Pop-Tart from you anytime. Those both sound delicious. Okay, enough money to retire and still live a super cush life. Yes. Yeah, you wanna be rich, rich. You wanna be, all the rich. Love it. Travel the world, go to Europe for the weekend rich. Photograph polar bears in the Arctic, travel more, be a US senator, triple your revenue, start a full-time mediation practice, get out of debt. Yes, I love all of these. These often, again, maybe they're not what we end up going after, but they do give us information about what could be really cool and what could be really fun to explore as a goal. Because I'm going to be honest, what y'all put down yesterday as a goal or a priority for the year looks very, very different than some of these dreams, which is good. This is the whole point. We're kind of minding the gap. We're probably going to come up with something in between. But sometimes when we play with these ideas, we actually find the courage to move in those directions. Okay, so by the way, I always participate. I've not participated on this one. Something that I really want but feels impossible right now. So I set the goal last year of writing the book, getting the agent, getting the book deal, and I totally thought like that would just happen. Like I had that belief. And then as I've been working on the book, and I've spent a ton of time on the book, it has felt like it's more and more of that uphill climb. And I absolutely would love to be a New York Times bestseller and to be able to go to a press tour and to be able to, have that be, translated into movies and be able to do multiple books, all of those things. And at this moment, At this exact moment, it feels impossible. So I'm just going to put that out there. Doesn't mean it's not, but I would absolutely love to actually make that happen. But it feels a little impossible at the moment. All right. So let's go to a little story that I want to tell that you may know because you may have heard tell this story before, or maybe you've heard Sarah Blakely or someone else share this story. So Sarah was on, I think it was called Rebel Billionaire. It was a very early reality TV show that Richard Branson had, and it was only one season, but Sarah was on it. She was the founder of Spanx at the time. And one of the competitions was that, so they were all on a bungee, and there was someone hanging from a crane, and they had to try to catch the person around the waist on the crane. Because if they caught the person around the waist on the crane, then they wouldn't have to bungee. I think it was like 400 feet. I feel like it might have even been over Victoria Falls. But anyway, like it was really high. And Sarah was afraid of heights. I mean, I'm deathly afraid of heights. I'm like, I can't even imagine doing that. And so if you didn't catch the person, you were going to bungee all the way down. But if you were able to catch the person, then you didn't have to bungee. There might have been a prize associated with it. I don't know. But this is what was happening. And everybody went, everybody bungeed, except for Sarah, who actually caught the person. And so she didn't have to bungee down. And afterwards, they were all chatting and talking, and they were like, "How did you do that? Like, what was your technique? Like, how were you able to do that when we weren't?" And so everybody kind of like started talking through what they were doing. And everybody tried to be laser focused on catching that person around the waist. And Sarah, because she is terrified of heights, and if you are also terrified of heights, then you know the technique she used. I often use it when I'm doing something goofy, generally at Miraval, with my retreat attendees. I used to always do it. And I would need to have something to focus on. But you don't focus on what's at hand, because if you focus on what's at hand, you're going to like pass out. So you generally find one thing, like you just choose a focal point and you don't take your eye off of it. Like you don't take your eye off. She actually, there was something above the person, like 6 feet above. It was something related to the crane. And so she was just focused on that because she didn't want to pass out. And so she ran and jumped, never taking her eyes off of that. And she caught the person around the waist. So everyone who focused on the waist actually came up short. She was focused on something 6 feet above and caught the waist. And I love that analogy for goals. When we just go after and we focus on something that, maybe feels like a stretch goal or feels right in front of us, we may still come up short. But if we go above and beyond, if we say, actually, what I want seems delusional, what I want seems impossible, and we focus on something even higher, we may not get to that spot, but we're still going to get closer than we would have otherwise. And so this is why I like to dream a little. It feels like overshooting, but you still like end up in a really, really cool spot. So challenge number 3, my next question for you. If you could guarantee success, what would you go after this year, even if it was scary, right? So it's like this bungee jump. It might be scary, but if you knew that you could actually guarantee success, you could accomplish it, what would it be? What would it be? I have looked for that video, Doris, and I have not been able to find it. And I don't think that like anyone has picked it up. Like it's not on Netflix or anything. So it's not like you can go back and watch that reality show, but it'd be really cool if you could. I love it. Get paid $50,000 for a keynote. If you were guaranteed that you could get that keynote, you would do the work and go ask for it, even though it would probably make you shit your pants. to make that ask. Doris would run for Congress. Yes, that would be scary, like on so many different levels, but if you were guaranteed success, you would do it. Sean, she would pitch for that TED Talk. I love it. Yes, I love it. What else do you guys have? Are you noodling? Are you thinking? Are you too scared to put it in the chat? Um, what would be mine? What would be mine? Um, well, I'll just go ahead and say right now, if I could guarantee success, I would go ahead and reach out to my dream agent. I've not reached out to her because I'm trying to get this perfect. But if I knew that like the deal was coming through, I would just go ahead and reach out to her. I would not wait. A self-sustaining business that has perfect, no, not perfect. I refuse to accept perfect systems and automation. I'm not, am I rewriting Rachel's dream? Look at me being such a Debbie Downer. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. I'd have a self-sustaining business that has systems and automations that work so I can travel and work anywhere. Y'all know I hate the word perfect. Okay, start a cocktail company and source ingredients from all over the world. I love that. Yeah, look, Sean's like, just call her. Yeah, look, okay. Sally was in my lawyer only mastermind working for another firm. And like it was either a 5 or 6 month mastermind. I don't even remember. And I swear we were only like what 3 or 4 months in because she just kept going, I'm realizing that I don't actually have autonomy over what I want to have as it relates to building this business. And like, y'all, she just did it. She was like, I'm just going to start my own firm. And she did. And it has been so successful, so much more successful than she thought. We did some private coaching this year and her goal was this. I was like, it far surpassed it. I loved it. So much fun to watch. I love it. Of course, Megan, you would launch yet another side business focusing on woo and wellness. Magically become independently wealthy and just work with animals all day. Yeah. I mean, somebody's got to win the lottery. Okay. I love it. I love it. I love all of these goals. So this is what you're doing for today. This is what you're doing for today. This is day 2, best year, best you. We're just dreaming. We're dreaming wildly. By the way, I loved this. I mean, I don't even remember when this was. I think it was forever ago, but are we all of the age that we remember when it actually happened with Oprah? Like that was that very first year when she did it and got like so excited, and it's like the gift that will never end. Or GIF, however you say it. I prefer GIF. But everybody like won so many things, and we were all like, I mean, that would have been our wish for the year, was to be in her audience. That was so much fun. So dream wild, everyone gets a car. Just keep brainstorming all the different things. That's your only job. It's not to pick anything, it's just to continue to brainstorm, continue to do your wish list. As a reminder, someone will win on Friday. One-on-one sessions with me quarterly all year long. So just register at Best Year Best You, show up, get your entries in, and then everyone, like if you so choose, will get 50% off of Goals Reimagined and Growth Accelerator, which is if like you really want to dig in and do a huge, not huge, but like a fully thought out plan as opposed to just small things each day. And then Growth Accelerator is if you have a business or you're a service-based professional. Y'all did it. That is day 2. Tomorrow we're doing our theme is work it. So tomorrow is about the how we could potentially make, whether it's the realistic goals or the delusional goals, whatever goals, how we can actually potentially turn them into reality. So I will see you back here tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central. Have a great day.